Rick Macci on the drum.
First off, so glad to be here. When I was asked for the opportunity, I didn't hesitate, but I need to tell everybody I'm so cold right now, you have no idea. I've been on a tennis court since age 22. I'm like a lizard. I prefer 100 degrees. This is what I do every day. But what I'd like to do is kind of back the truck up a little bit. I grew up in a small town, Greenville, Ohio, about 20 miles southwest of Dayton, Ohio. My father passed away when I was 10 years old. I picked up a tennis racket at 12 years old. This is crazy. Some of you guys like it. At 18 years old, I was the #1 junior in the Ohio Valley without ever having a tennis lesson. All right? And what's crazy is I probably teach more lessons than anybody in the United States as I sit here today. So I grew up in Greenville, Ohio, and I lived a half mile from a park, a public park. All right? I went down there, I hit the ball against the wall. I really liked it. The ball always came back. I liked the sound of the ball, and it was like amazing. So about 5-6 years ago, when I heard about South County Park wanted to do a private-public partnership, there was an RFP. I had no idea what that was, okay, but listen, I'm still learning every day, and I was fortunate enough to be awarded the park. As a lot of you know, turn it into like Disneyland, Candyland. It's like just Wonderland. It's a place like no other, but it's more a land of opportunity for young people, all ages, no matter what level, and it's a very special place where, like she said, we don't just change strokes, we change people's lives, okay? But what I'm here to talk about today is how to stay a little more resilient, okay, through tough times. And the first thing I need to say, because this stuff's kind of right in my wheelhouse, the first thing we got to do is have a different perspective. You got to change your mindset. And there's so many gold nuggets that I can throw out there today. But the first thing you got to understand, you got to change your perspective. Okay? What I mean by that is everybody in here is going to fail. Everybody in here is going to have problems. That's the game of life. That's going to happen. So if you understand that first, okay, that's the starting point. I cannot stress that enough. That's part of the journey. Getting knocked down. It's going to happen. So if you know that's part of it, because the game of life is not like this. It's not like that. It's going to be like this. I cannot stress that enough. So if you know that that's part of the deal, you're going to fail, you're going to have problems, okay, that's the starting point. I just cannot stress that enough. Number 2, having a positive attitude. All right, and this is the toughest thing. Everybody's aware what you eat, like what you put in your mouth, okay? Some of us more than others. There's a lot of you have kids. You're really aware of what you put in your mouth. But what do you put in your brain, okay? And I would want everybody to take 5 minutes out of your day, okay? And don't say you don't have time. I get that from the kids all the time. A winner finds a way. A loser makes an excuse. Find a way to get it done. 5 minutes. You should go on YouTube, okay, and just watch a motivational speaker for 5 minutes every day. Put it into your life. It will act as a buffer, okay, inspire you to have more energy and to be able to handle things as you go through the game of life, okay? Because there's going to be problems. You're going to fail. I tell everybody, the more you fail, the more you're going to succeed. And that's no more important than what I do, because in what I do, you got 20 seconds to flip it in your mind like it happened 20 years ago, to come back out to that baseline, all right? Like it never happened, and that's mind control. But it's the same thing in the game of life, okay? I cannot stress that enough. So if you understand that failure and problems is part of your journey, okay, you're going to be able to handle things so much easier. Next thing, the support system. Whenever you have a problem, okay, ask people for help. Okay, let me tell you something. The best of the best, not just some of the greatest athletes I've worked with, I've helped mold, okay? Not even in tennis, okay? They all ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help, okay, from anybody. Because always remember, everything you hear goes into your subconscious, okay, everything. And it's in there. But if you have a support system, okay, to help you get through good times, and listen, it's not going to last forever, and it's only over when you say it's over. That's it. You got to keep going, whether it takes a day, a week, whatever. This is what I need everybody to change kind of your perspective of how you look at this stuff. Now, I just mentioned something about YouTube and 5 minutes. How many people in here would be willing to do that starting tomorrow? I'm just curious. Raise your hand. All right. Okay, I'd like to coach some of you already. You already listened to me. I tell a lot of kids, they all hear me, but a lot of them don't listen. When they don't listen, I just keep going deeper and deeper. But how many of you would do it tomorrow if I said, I'll give you $1,000? There's more hands, Kurt. There's more hands that just came up. See, we all got it backwards. Some of them double hand. See, you got it backwards. You know, if you have a better attitude, okay? And this is how I'm trying to help you get through problems, okay? You might earn $1,000 more. It's the other way around. It's not the other way, all right? I just cannot stress that enough. I want to kind of deviate a little bit here. Has anybody in here seen the movie King Richard? I know some people have. Okay, so spot on. Okay, it's like so spot on. It was like amazing. The walk, the talk, the nuances, all the subtleties. The only difference is John Bernthal had this bushy mustache, and I had this little piece of astroturf that took me like 30 years to grow. But it was like it was an amazing experience to have it come out in a movie. But I would like to just share this story with everybody here, because obviously I've done like 300 podcasts in the last just 2 years, a lot of interviews, and people want to know, how did that even happen? All right? And this is an amazing story, and I'd like for, if you have kids, to share with your kids. It was like 1991. I was a director of tennis at Greenleaf Golf and Tennis Resort in Haines City, Florida. I get a call from this guy named Richard Williams. Venus was undefeated in the 10 and under. She was in the New York Times. Whatever the 10 and under means. I've seen that movie my whole life. It doesn't mean a lot. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. But it meant something. He called me up. Because I had Jennifer Capriati, who was the most dominant junior female tennis player ever. Even to this day, at 12 years old, she won the National Girls 18, a record that still stands today. So he kind of knew of me, and he called me up. He said, I have 2 daughters, Venus and Serena. They're like 9 and 10. Will you come out to Compton and take a look? I said, listen, I see people at a junior tournament, or they kind of come to me. And I said, I'm not going, there's no way I'm going to do something like that. He goes, Rick, if you come to Compton, I promise I won't get you shot, okay? So he's like the funniest guy ever, you know, cracking a joke. So for whatever reason, one of the best decisions I ever made in my entire life, I said, you know what, I'm going to go out there and just check out these 2 little kids. So I went out to California that night, just like yesterday. You know, I meet them at the hotel room. They all come in, Venus, Serena, Orsine, and Richard. Venus on one leg, Serena on the other, hugging, kissing, just like you saw in the movie. But this guy pulls out a piece of paper. He started grilling me like I was in a deposition, you know, and I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole again. But I respected it, because if he wanted someone in their circle, he wanted a role model, a father figure, someone who's been there, done that. So, but I thought it was kind of interesting that he asked me all these questions. So he goes, the next day we're picking you up. That same bus you saw in the movie, it's the same identical bus. And we're going to East Compton Hills Country Club, all right? So he picks me up the next morning at 7 o'clock. I get in the passenger side of that bus. I get harpooned in the buttock, okay? There was a spring sticking up. Now remember, I'm at a 5-star resort, Greenleaf Golf and Tennis Resort, and I'm looking back, There's Venus and Serena like that. There's old balls. There's dirty clothes. McDonald's wrappers. It's like, it's unbelievable. And I'm sitting there going, what in God's name am I doing in Compton, California? You know? So we get in the bus, and he goes, we're going to East Compton Hills Country Club. So about 10 minutes into the ride, I'm looking around, I'm going, this is a strange place for a country club. So we pull up to a park. Not like South County Park, trust me, 2 courts, a public park, 7:30 in the morning, people like smoke and drink and pass out on the grass. We get out of the bus, okay, there's guys shooting baskets. It's like 7:30 on a Saturday, there's guys shooting baskets. We get out of the bus, because the New York Times was there like 6 months earlier. So these 2 little kids got some publicity. So we get out of the bus. Now listen to this. It was 1991. I know maybe some of you guys weren't even here right then. And they go, hey V, hey Meek, Serena's middle name, Serena Jamaica Williams. Hey King Richard. I'm going, who's calling this guy King? This was 91. The movie just came out like 2 years ago. So we get out of the bus. We have to go across the basketball court to the tennis court. It parts like the Red Sea. This was crazy. I'm like kind of freaking out, you know? So then we go onto the tennis court, and I had a box of Wilson balls shipped there. He goes, Rick, we don't use new balls. I want old balls. I want them digging them out. I want their butt down there, scraping out those balls. I got it. It was a little different, okay? So now we go onto the court, and on the court, there was a basket, and he had like 7 chains, that same basket you saw in the movie, that shopping cart. Probably wasn't from Publix though, but it was a shopping cart, and had 7 chains wrapped around it. It took this guy 20 minutes to get the chains off. And I'm sitting there going, this is too. He goes, Rick, I gotta lock it down. It won't be here in the morning, okay? We all know what that's about. So we started hitting balls, okay? I'm on one side, Venus Serena on the other. I'm feeding balls and taking the temperature, all right? And I had Jennifer Capriati before this. Poetry in Motion, racket back in the parking lot, low center of gravity, the ball was on a string. She was a magician, okay? I mean, she was top 10 in the world in the pros as a 14-year-old. So my blueprint for greatness was like no other. Now I'm seeing these 2 little girls. There's like arms and legs and hair, and beads are flying off their head. It was like, it was a train wreck. I'm just going, but it's a great lesson for everybody in the room. You know, you never judge a book by the cover. The cover could be amazing and the book bad. The cover bad, the book amazing. So I'm doing this for an hour, and I'm thinking, my flight's Sunday night, maybe I'll make it Saturday night, you know? I didn't see anything. Okay, then I said, let's play competitive points. Because it was more about Venus, because she was a little older. Serena was like a little prankster, okay? She loves it when I call her that. And so we started playing competitive points. And the whole landscape changed. The whole landscape changed. Even to this day, 30-some years later, I never saw 2 little girls try so hard. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be number 1 in the world, but that will help you in the game of life. Venus was almost 5'8". Her nose was that far off the ground trying to get a ball. I never saw 2 little kids. There was like a rage. There was something inside these 2 little girls that I never saw, and I haven't to this day. And I've had Sharapova and Sophia Kenin, and I've had a lot of great players. This was different. And as a coach, that just means one thing. You're going to handle pressure better, just because it's all coming from the inside. But I didn't see it on the outside. So, right then and there, I went up to Richard. This is actually in the movie. I said, Richard, come here. I said, you got the next female Michael Jordan on your hands. And he puts his arm around me. He goes, no, brother, man. I got the next 2. All right? And that's in the movie. And right then and there, Venus goes, Daddy, Daddy. Such a close-knit family. And that's a wild card in making greatness, family. Okay? She goes, can I go to the bathroom? Hugging, kissing, just like you saw in the movie. So Venus goes out the gate. She walks on her hands for 5 feet. Then she does backward cartwheels for 5 feet, and I'm going, whoa. Because this was 1991, and if you were big and strong, you weren't nimble. I not only thought, with the right coaching and the right financial help, all right, could they be number one in the world? They could transcend the sport. So right then and there, I'm thinking 6 feet, 160, 5'10", 145, that's a coach projecting how, and then, because they were all over the place technically, but I couldn't put Humpty Dumpty together, so that wasn't a big problem. So a few months later, we teamed up. Okay, I moved the whole family to Florida. You know, what was going to happen next was like a mystery, but as I sit here today, the bottom line is we changed history. So I thought I'd share that story with you guys. It's kind of different how it all started, but without the opportunity, you know, to give a child, whether it be a financial opportunity or the words or whatever, you can change like people's lives. But the whole situation with the Williams family was like no other. Richard and I are still great friends. He lives here in West Palm Beach. The girls have a place here. But they're, as little kids, and this is what I try to tell everybody when I give speeches, because you see what you're going to see on television every night. Every night. Rick, thank you very much. Whether good, bad, happy, sad, and trust me, with Serena, it wasn't always that stare you saw at the U.S. Open. I got that stare a lot as a 12-year-old, okay? But I liked that because her backbone was probably better than her backhand. So I really liked that, but they're so appreciative and so thankful. And every single day, Richard brought their books to the court, school books. And if it rained, go to Rick's office and study. See, these are the things that people don't understand. They just see stuff on television. So I wanted to share that with you. So it's just an amazing story because they not only changed history and inspired others, not just in the game of tennis, but in the game of life. If I can do it, you can do it. You know, they weren't even in the front row or the back row. They weren't even in the building. They were from Compton, but they were given an opportunity. They had talent, but it's what you do with that. So you can share that with all your families. That's an amazing story. But back to the resiliency. You know, as I said, you're going to fail and you're going to have problems. Okay? I failed more than anybody here today. Okay? It's all how you're going to perceive it. There's another opportunity. There's something bigger and better down the road. And it's hard to think like that. It's very hard because we're programmed. You go home at night, you're watching TV, it's like there's so much negative stuff. It's all this stuff that goes into your brain. And this is the hardest thing to do. And people always say, why are you in such a good mood? And I go, why aren't you? Okay, you got to control the situation. Do not let the situation control you. It's mindset. And the one good thing, it doesn't matter if I'm teaching an 8-year-old or someone number one in the United States or people on the pro tour, which I work with over like 30 people. You can always change your mindset, how you look at things. We get caught on that merry-go-round. You know, we're creatures of habit. Especially me, I'm like boom, boom, boom. But I become boom, boom, boom with the mental part of this, with the mental part of this. And it's a game changer. It's a life changer. How you respond to problems. You know, you get at a red light, are you going to have patience? And the person in front of you, now the light's green and he's just standing there, we will all respond differently. Okay? Everybody in here needs to understand one thing. Always appreciate what you have, not what you don't have. That's so powerful. If you can always remember that, but it's hard because we start zigging and sagging and we get into this game of life and there's all kinds of things that hit you. Every day, appreciate, what you have, okay? Instead of what you don't have. And I try to get that across to everybody. And it's hard because, we let everything else control us. So that is so important, especially when you have a problem, okay? And there's a lot of adversity, which is going to happen. It's mindset and it's perspective. How you guys look at it. And you got to change that. Now, I think everybody does a little bit, and then they get right back into what they're doing. It'd mean so much if tomorrow you would start putting different things in your head. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. It will make such a big difference. You'll have a little more giddy up, you'll feel more confident, you'll handle things better, you'll know there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's crazy how this stuff works. People don't understand. I mean, Kurt probably does. I mean, I still sweep the sidewalks at the park because I want to. If there's a piece of trash, I'm going to pick it up because I want to. Okay? Not because I have to. I don't have to open up the park at 5. I want to. But by doing that and having appreciation and gratitude, you'll be more peace. You'll be with a higher situation. Okay? And this is what I'd like everybody to take away from today. All right? Because everything that you just saw on that screen, I got potential, okay? That's what I tell everybody. I got to get better when I get back on the court at 11. I got to get better tomorrow, okay? My favorite student of all time. Well, right now you guys are, okay? All right, even though I'm freezing. Okay, my favorite student. The next time we do this, it's Court 1 at South County Regional Park. And I see everybody has on a tag. I got a permanent one here. That's my name in South County Regional Park. But no, just always appreciate, what you have instead of what you don't have, okay? It's not going to last forever. And it's hard to do that. And the more bulletproof that you are, okay, you'll just look at things differently, okay? You'll smile about it. You don't let things get in your head. And this is with the game of tennis. Why I've been fortunate. I explain it very differently than a sports psychologist and have helped so many kids, okay, and adults become so mentally stronger with the attitude, like adjustment and how they look at it. And all these people that come back over the years. I'm now teaching their kids, Okay, they're getting older, and I'm getting older, but I teach some kids, their kids now. And they don't tell me how good I made their forehand or their serve, even though they're allowed to do that. It's their work ethic, their attitude, and they pass that down to their kids. Like Christian Ruud, his son Casper was like 5 in the world from Norway. He was the best player in Norway, now his son is, but that makes him feel even better. I could go on and on about, that means more to me, all right, with the mental part. And so this is what you guys can do, not only for yourself, but for your children. Because it's just so much insanity out there, okay? So there's so much that can influence everything. One thing can get people off track, and the more that you can create an environment of positivity, you're gonna handle it, okay? And another thing, since my oldest daughter's right here, at 13 years old, besides working every single day and what I do, I raise 3 teenage daughters by myself. I think for that alone, I should be in the Hall of Fame, okay? Or put up with Richard, okay? But listen, at the end of the day, it's all about that. It's mindset, being down to earth. People ask me all the time, who's Rick? Be honest. I get this all the time. Who's your favorite student of all time? So I said, you guys. It's not Venus or Serena, or like Capriati or Roddy or Kenan or Messina or Pierce. It's not any. It's who's ever on the other side of that net, that hour, that minute, that second. And I think that cornerstone and all the Midwest values and stuff like that, they can feel that. And when you can get someone to feel that, like your own children, you can extract greatness. One word can change someone's life. You have no idea. And that's kind of what I was put out here to do, to help others. So I hope, some of the things that I've thrown out here today, it's going to benefit you and your family. And like I said, Kirk, the next time we're doing this, everybody's coming to the park on court number 1. It's a lot warmer. I really enjoyed being here, and we're definitely going to do it again. Thank you so much.